Hundreds of years ago, the borders between the worlds of humans and Youkai temporarily overlapped, resulting in many residents of both crossing over to the other side. In the years since this event, the city of Saturation has become a central hub for all interdimensional affairs, a result of both the sacred 7 pillars around the city serving as a beacon for the Youkai, and the efforts of the Hizumi Life Counseling Office in keeping the townsfolk happy. This office is composed of Yaruza, the young mayor of the city, who is assisted by Nanami, who can read people's minds, half-Youkai Kadoha, who can summon anything by speaking a word, Oni siblings Kyoyusuke and Tauka, and the office director Akina, who inherited his family's ability to force Youkai back to their world. A blonde girl, Lily, is seen skipping through Sakurashin City. She is met with Kadoha and Tauka, who think she is lost, and they accompany her throughout the festival. While playing the goldfish saving game, Yaruza and her ever-complaining Kyoyusuke learn about this lost child. She also learns that this place is a melting pot for humans and demons, and some of them are in the latter category, but Yaruza is completely human. Meanwhile, the villainous Enjin is going to rev things up. Akina is handling a center for lost kids at his office. Lily is brought here so that Nanami can use her mind to read and check who her parents are and what they look like. It may look like Nanami's drawings suck, but are these cute little demons Lily's parents? Before they can go on, a lightning strikes a goldfish to turn it into a huge monster. Tauka panics, trying to get everybody to safety. But everyone is calm since they know their heroes will do something about it. Kadoha saves the day and contains it in a huge poi. But it's not over yet. Enjin continues his mischief and unleashes more lightning, which means more giant goldfish. Our heroes have their hands full in trying to contain the monster goldfish across town. The final one appears at Akina's office. Yaruza and Akina engage it, while Lily is puzzled that a normal human like Akina is emitting some sort of strange power. Finally, Kadoha traps it in a giant tank. Afterwards, Lily's parents finally arrive to pick her up. But after a distance, they return to their true form, a pair of cute little demons. She meets Enjin, who asks for her opinion about them. Lily responds that they were just decent. As for whatever planning they need, Lily doesn't feel the need for any and transforms into her true form. A busty, sexy witch named Leela. The following day, Juri hands Akina the health certificates for the new citizens. Later, Morioka and Shina drop by the office to get the certificates. Kyoyusuke doesn't trust them because to protect humans, they handle information about demons. He asks a provocative question. If it comes down to saving humans or demons, which would he choose? Shina didn't mince her words, saying that she would pick humans. Kyoyusuke gets riled up when Morioka warns about him being unable to control his power and going on a rampage like his sister. No war started because Akina handed the certificates to him and they left. We go back a few moments earlier in the day when Yaruza stopped by a ramen shop after school. Kyoyusuke's instincts made him rush to the scene just to reprimand Yaruza for eating too much. Then he too is forced to eat bowls after bowls of ramen. Since Yaruza needs some exercise after all that intake, she hopes Kadoha can spar with her. A barrier is made near the office so Yaruza and Kadoha can fight to their heart's content. Unknown to them, Lily is watching as she chants some lines that cause Kadoha to remember some traumatic memories. This causes her to materialize lots of weapons of mass destruction. They could have been done if Yi hadn't sliced up the barrier, and she didn't even know she had done it because she was half asleep. Suddenly, Yuyuhi had to reprimand and take Yi away, reducing her to a harmless Kai-Bai form, because what she did could upset the balance of the world. Once they're gone, Morioka and Shina just leave the office and greet Yaruza and the girls. The next day, Tauka's leg is in a cast because she got injured after misusing her strong powers. She gets scolded by Big Brother, but Yi had him drop the subject or she'd reveal all his confessions were about his sister. Since they are all here, Akina wants to cook for them, and this Tauka is excited to eat. However, Yi teases her that the guy he loves is going to cook for her, which makes Tauka more excited, and she immediately pushes the couch with his power. She gets scolded again by his brother, who tells her not to go out, and there are ogres. On her way home, she sees twins, Mina and Kana, and they think she got dumped by Akina because of her sullen face. Meanwhile, Shidu, the cop who is always a second late, picking up the adopted twins or losing them, sees them at the junction, but then the brakes stop working, and he is going to crash into them. Tauka protects the twins and uses her strength to stop the car. In the process, her strength also crushes the twins. Kyosuke hears Toka crying that she hates this power and quickly blames Akina, saying that if he were only duty-bound, this wouldn't have happened. Thankfully, the twins are recuperating in the hospital and are doing fine because they are vampires. Kyosuke and Akina aren't on speaking terms, and Kyosuke is constantly bringing up the duty-bound issue. Later, Shidu explains the meaning of duty-bound just like the twins. Apparently, this world has two dimensions that exist simultaneously, the human world and the demon world. Although in the same place, both sides cannot see each other. Demons who live in the human world lose control of their power and start aging. Technically, it is better for them to be in the other world, but because those who were sent there can never return, they don't know what it's like. For demons who want to go to that dimension, they need to be in tune with the same frequency, just like on a radio. Tuning demons is Dutybound's job, and because an exact location is needed in order to tune in, that is what the 7 pillars called Nanagu are for. It is featured in both worlds and is a famous landmark in Saturation City. Thus, this town is also famous for returning demons to the other world, and this is the duty of the Hizumi clan's head. They have the power to tune, and that responsibility has been passed down to Akina. Because demons really disappear after tuning and never return, they liken their role to killing. When Akina's grandpa, Makiharu tuned Yaraza's grandma Machai, returned to the other world, he was asked if he had the resolve to kill. When Kyosuke is carrying Tauka home, Akina comes by to settle a score. Kyosuke still believes that the siblings and the rest of the demons could have lived peacefully in the other world if Akina had done his duty. Akina takes Tauka as hostage and wants to know where he heard he has not inherited this power. He wants Kyosuke to take off his shackles and punch him with all he has, or he will really send Tauka to the other world as he wishes. After provoking Kyosuke as a big siskin, he punches Akina, which sends him flying. Akina claims it was nothing. He claims his power is nothing special, and if this is all he's got, he can handle it by himself. One day, if he is unable to do anything about it, he'll send him over instead. But now, he doesn't want to part with any demons in this town. Akina punches back at Kyosuke. Kyosuke couldn't believe he was reckless in his tuning. But what if something really happened? Tauka hopes Akina will take responsibility, and this causes Kyosuke to misinterpret that Akina has gone this far in seducing her. The rest who are watching don't really get it about them beating each other up to make up, but are glad they're just back to normal. As for Enjin, he is satisfied to learn Akina has inherited Dutybound. At the ward meeting, Maribel reads out loud a message from the ward mayor, Yuhei Shinetsuhiko, as to why he is unable to attend. Marino begins to complain, to which Yaraza responds by telling him to be quiet. Marino continues to complain about the ward mayor's behavior, the fact that Yaraza, being a high school girl, is a mayor, and that a 9-year-old was attempting to run against him as mayor as well. Yaraza tells Marino that he will definitely lose the election to the 9-year-old. Soon we see the usual gang splashing at the pool party, which was originally supposed to be a Hanami event to reward their hard work. Mina accidentally pours sake into everyone's drink. Some passed out, some were drunk, and Yaraza started consuming a large amount of eggs, while crying while Kyosuke passed out alongside Akina. At the end, Yuyuhi tells Akina that there is one more spring to go before Nanagu blooms. He warns that there is somebody trying to hasten the bloom, and in the worst-case scenario, the entire city can be sacrificed. At Yaraza's residence, Yaraza is practicing with Kyosuke, and she performs various combat moves up to her final move, in which she spins out of control, becoming dizzy and falling to the ground. Yaraza glances over to a spear displayed on the wall, which she believes to be the dragon's spear, which has been inherited from previous generations as proof of being mayor. As Yaraza goes to grab it, Kyosuke stops her, stating it is only to be used in emergencies. Yariza remembers her grandmother's words about the 3 things needed to be a mayor: love from the town, people, and dragon. For the last one, she must keep polishing herself to achieve that. As Kyosuke begins to speak, he is interrupted by an arrow with a paper message attached, shot from outside by a person from a tree. Yariza reads the message and tells Kyosuke to prepare. Yariza and Kyosuke arrive at the office to relay the news of this. Yariza shows them the message she received, and Akina and Katawa recognize the sender as Kohaimi, who bursts through the door, hitting Kyosuke on the way in. Kohaimi greets everyone, and Yariza explains that Kohaimi is running for mayor in the neighboring town. Kohaimi tells them that she is 9 years old, being the same age as Yariza when she became mayor. Kohaimi has Yariza take her out for patrols as training. As Yariza and Kohaimi walk around town, Kohaimi begins looking through a ceramic store in a bowl. Yariza recognizes the store as Jinroku Yatsuya's ceramic store and tells Kohaimi they're leaving. Jinroku comes out of the store, then pulls a switch, which activates a large crane that picks up Kohaimi. Jinroku then begins yelling at the two. Suddenly, he is hit on the head with a paper fan by his wife, Kiku, who catches Kohaimi from the crane. Kiku berates Jinroku for picking on children, and Jinroku stated that Yariza is nothing like her grandmother and that he will not accept her as mayor. Yariza is saddened and contemplates how all the townspeople continually mention the previous generation when evaluating her as mayor. In the distance, Marino is still so worried about his rival that he has hired some shady people to take care of it. Later that night, Kohaimi throws a party at Yariza's residence, and they repeat the drunk fiasco from the earlier party. Akina reveals to Yariza that Nanagu will soon bloom. In the past, the success rate of tuning demons was extremely low, and it ended in true death. The Hizumi clan decided that there would be no more such deaths and needed to establish absolute coordinates. 2 men volunteered: Aoshu, who is the current head, and Iniyu, the head of a branch family. Iniyu volunteered to be sent to the other world. A year later, 7 gigantic trees appeared. Because they were only half-tuned, Nanagu exists in both dimensions. Although tuning demons have become successful, Iniyu never returned, and the clan had no choice but to give up on him. Humans and demons gathered near Nanagu and created a town that we all know today as Sakurashin City. So when Nanagu blooms, it will mean both dimensions will merge, and demons living on the other side will flood here. It will have an effect on the demons living here. Some might lose control or even die. Yariza is shocked and asks why she was the only one who did not know. Akina replies that she was excluded since she was not a Youkai, is busy being mayor, and does not want to give her additional problems to worry about. The doorbell rings, and Tauka and Al go to answer it. A crash is heard as the remaining group rushes to the front door to find a large lizard attacking them. Kyosuke tells Yariza that the use of the dragon spear is permitted in such a situation. The creature thrashes through the building as Yariza grabs her spear from the wall. Yariza attacks the creature, but as she enters the final stage of her attack, she spins out of control and becomes disoriented while the rest of the group arrives. Marino, Ig, and the tall old man enter the broken building, with Ig carrying Kohaimi. The old man remarks that Yariza has not yet mastered the dragon's spear and makes a call to activate the anti-Youkai barrier, causing Tauka, Nanami, and Kyosuke to fall to the ground. Akina and Katawa turn to see Yariza reacting to the device and are shocked at the realization that she is a Youkai as well. However, Yariza gets back up to fight and demands Kohaimi's release. The creature launches an attack at Yariza, which she blocks with her spear but fails and is sent flying towards Jinroku and Kiku, who catch her. The creature launches another attack behind Jinroku, which Yariza blocks. However, the creature slammed him into the ground, knocking him out. The old man signals to the creature to stop attacking. Yariza demands that they return Kohaimi, and the old man offers 2 conditions for her return. The conditions are that Kohaimi withdraw from the election. Second, that the mayorship of Sakurashinmachi be given over to him. The old man, Morino, and IG leave with Kohaimi, stating they will have until tonight to respond, and that they will be waiting at Main Street. Yi arrives and draws her sword, spring swiftness, vertically into the air, weakening the barrier and returning the memories of the townspeople that she sealed 6 years ago. Akina regains his memories as the group gathers around Yariza. Yariza tells Akina that he always tried to do everything by himself, and she would too because she loved that about him. She then begins to break down into tears, saying she cannot do it by herself this time and pleading with Akina to save Kohaimi and the town. Julie arrives, wrapping Yariza up in bandages and tossing her onto a stretcher in the back of an ambulance. Julie tells them that she will take care of Yariza and that they should do what they need to. The remaining members of the group prepare their plan to save the town. Kotoha briefs the group on the plan, splitting the group up into 2 teams. Kotoha, Nanami, and Shido help them locate and disable the anti-Youkai barrier, while Akina and Kyosu Ki attempt to rescue Kohaimi from IG and his men, who are before them. As both sides aren't going to comply, they start throwing things. The group of Kotoha soon finds themselves being pursued by the large lizard creature that attacked them. Kotoha's phone rings as Akina calls her about the barrier. Yuhai calls Nanami's phone, telling them that the barrier is located in the metropolis. Nanami uses her satellite ability to scan the minds of the people and locates some of the old man's grunts in a high location. Akina and Kotoha deduce the device being deployed from the Tokyo Tower. Kotoha prepares to have Shido drive them to Tokyo, but a barrier is preventing them from getting to leave town. Meanwhile, Kyosu Ki and IG's fight is getting physical, but IG is much more superior. Kyosu Ki tells Akina to stay away from the fight between demons because if they both fall here, who's going to protect this town? IG questions Kyosu Ki's loyalty to Yariza. He can only think of thoughts about her goofing around. This allows Akina to tune the van to give them time to escape, but the lizard monster suddenly falls from the sky, knocking out Kyosu Ki while saving Akina. Suddenly, they're picked up by Shido, and thanks to Nanami's use of all her powers to find them, Akina asks Shido where Kotoha is. He says she is right behind them. Kotoha has summoned a giant train cannon that is moving alongside them on the tracks. Kotoha fires the cannon and manages to hit Tokyo Tower, destroying the barrier with the help of a gust of wind. Afterward, the group goes to the meeting place where the old man was, and Akina faces them alone. As IG finishes off Akina, Yariza arrives, playing music from the rooftops, and jumps down from the roof, landing on her back. Morino yells at Yariza not to get involved and to shut off the music. Yariza shuts off the music playing on the radio and states that she will teach them some manners. Meanwhile, Tauka is trying to wake up her brother. She remembers how they were running away, and Kyosu Ki was trying to protect her. However, he was being forceful and hurting her instead. So Yariza had to tell him that he can't do the job of protecting others if he doesn't learn to protect himself. She invited him to come live in her town, and she will protect him until he is strong enough. That woke Kyosu Ki up, and he slammed the lizard monsters away with a pillar before Yariza and Akina were squished. The old man pulls out a container containing several lizards and transforms them. Yariza and Kyosu Ki proceed to take care of the new enemies. Kyosu Ki tells Akina to stay back and that he has overused his powers enough. Kyosu Ki and Yariza defeat the current set of enemies, but the old man pulls more and creates more for them to fight. A large crane appears and knocks on enlarged lizards. Kiku, Jinroku, and Akina are on the roof as Jinroku gloats about his device. Yariza asks why they had not evacuated, and Jinroku replies, saying he has no choice but to protect himself. The creatures attack the shop, only to have Yariza block all of their attacks. Jinroku asks why Yariza is going to such lengths to protect the shop, to which she replies that it is the mayor's duty to protect the town. Jinroku notices Yariza's scarf is taking damage and asks if it is not something she treasures. Yariza tells Jinroku she prioritizes the town before her scarf, but then begins to cry. Jinroku then pushes a button on his device, causing his shop to self-destruct. Jinroku tells Yaruza that because she had their memories sealed, he had forgotten something important left in his care. Yaruza begins to feel a surge of power as a large crack crossing the ruins of the store begins to emanate light. Jinroku tells Yaruza that this is the power of the earth that flows underground, known as the Dragon Vein, and that it was left in his care by Yaruza's grandmother. From the light, Yaruza manifests a spear made of energy, the real dragon spear. Yaruza begins to attack the large creature and performs the final stage of her attack successfully, defeating the rest of the creatures. The old man orders Ig and Marino to bring out Kohaimi. The old man transforms his last lizard into one, which then begins to attack Yaruza. Kaiowusu-ki throws lots of extinguishers to create smoke, so Yaruza can attack, but is intercepted by Ig. However, Ig is caught off guard by Kaiowusu-ki, who grabs Ig's face and pushes him away. While the old man is distracted, Akina attempts to take Kohaimi from his grasps, but the old man vanishes and reappears on the roof. The old man begins to dangle Kohaimi over the mouth of the lizard. Marino then begins to yell, stating that this was not the deal and that the child would be returned safely, to which the old man replies that the plans changed and tells Marino that he will not get re-elected otherwise. Yaruza begins to chastise Marino for using a child as a shield to protect his position and states she hates him, to which Marino is unable to respond and begins to walk up the staircase of the building. The old man drops Kohaimi but is caught by Marino, who uses his back and legs to prevent the lizard from shutting its mouth on them. Marino states he would gladly hand mayorship over to a more suitable individual, but Kohaimi is still two, and that in order to learn to protect, they must be protected, and he states he will protect Kohaimi. As Marino begins to weaken against the monster, Ig grabs Marino and saves him from falling, tossing him and Kohaimi away, but he swallows himself. Akina catches Kohaimi while Kaiowusu-ki catches Marino. Marino then calls out to Ig and begs Yaruza to rescue him when he does not respond. Suddenly, Kadoha appears from the sky, delivering a kick to the creature and knocking it unconscious. Kadoha hears Ig inside the creature and uses her katadama to cut it open from the inside while Akina tunes it, rescuing Ig. Nanami wakes up in the back of the police vehicle and tells the group that she is unable to read the man's mind. The man removes his disguise, revealing the body of Jin, who is Nanami's big brother. The man puts on a pair of glasses and reveals himself to be Enjin Hizumi, a descendant of Enyu Hizumi. Yaruza is confused about the situation, believing Jin to have left on a journey. Akina explains that 2 years ago, he, his grandfather, and Jin were working to stop the fusion of the two dimensions, and that Jin wanted to go to the other side to establish a connection with Enyu's descendant, so Akina tuned Jin himself. Enjin laughs and tells Akina that the branch family was forcefully tuned for sacrifices, and the Nanagu were created in an act of revenge. Enjin tells Akina that he will need Akina's body in order to obtain the power to accelerate the blooming of the Nanagu. Yaruza questions Enjin about what he means, and Enjin explains that he will force Akina's soul to leave his body, revealing a scar on his body, which he uses as an example. Enjin begins to explain his Satori powers, creating an illusion of Yaruza's dragon spear as an example. Enjin swings his dragon spear around, hitting Akina in the chest. Being an illusion, no damage was inflicted, but as Enjin gets closer to Akina, he reveals that he was wielding a box cutter knife hidden by his illusion. Enjin stabs Akina in the gut, and Akina collapses, shocking everyone. In a burst of rage, the group suddenly began to attack Enjin with lethal force. Kadoha uses force to send him through a building and Yaruza prepares to kill Enjin, but her attack is stopped by Shido, who redirects Yaruza's dragon spear and grabs Enjin by the neck. Yaruza tells Shido to get out of her way and that she is going to kill Enjin, while Shido tells her to stop. A loud clap is caused by Yuhai, who arrives along with Maribel and tells them to break it up. By the time Yaruza and Shido can return their attention to Enjin, he has already disappeared to the rooftops. Enjin bids farewell and tells Akina not to sleep forever. The group turns their attention towards Akina, who wakes up and pulls out the Heim memo, revealing it had blocked the attack. Akina turns towards Yaruza, who is on the verge of tears, but is covered up by Kadoha, who uses Yaruza's scarf to wrap her face. Yuyuhi tells the group that Kohaimi cannot run for mayor, and that Marino will be mayor for the next term as well, shocking the rest of the group. Yuyuhi explains that a 9-year-old cannot be mayor and that Sakirashimachi is an exception. The group collapsed to the ground exhausted, with Yaruza collapsing on Akina's shoulder. In the aftermath, Kotoha and Akina watch as Yaruza oversees the rebuilding of Jinroku's shop. Akina notes that Yaruza is in a good mood, which Kotoha attributes to Akina fixing her scarf. That is how the video ends. If you want me to continue this anime, let me know by commenting down below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.